Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akanakwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled Continuing Yesterday's Lesson, Worldliness. Alright, so as you can see from the title, this is a continuation, alright, so to speak, of yesterday's lesson, which was titled Money Isn't as Important as People Make It Out to Be. Alright, and in this we were talking about, how the love of money is the root of all evil, and that, you brought nothing into this world, you're not going to take it out, you can't, you're not going to be able to buy yourself salvation, right? You're not going to be able to buy yourself a ticket into the chariots. That's not how it works, alright? And, and a light way of continuing yesterday's lesson, it's talking about worldliness now, and I had no intentions originally of, continuing that lesson, but, through the Spirit, I was making this lesson, and I realized, covetousness with the money and worldliness, are really, one and the same thing. So it's like it's a light continuation, right? A light continuation, if you will. So right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to start up with Romans 12 and 1 through 2, because, the love of money and getting obsessed with money is a worldly concept. It's not something spiritual. It's not of the Spirit. All right. It's of the flesh. It's a worldly thing. All right. And it has nothing to do, related with this truth. All right. The pursuit of money. All right. This truth is actually the complete opposite other than the pursuit of money. All right. Because if you ask most of us that are in this truth, we don't give a goddamn about no money, man. And of course, we need it to pay bills, and we need to, to eat. All right. And everyone likes to go and do something a little bit nice every once in a while, whether it's, you go out to, hell, even something cheaper. It's cheaper. It's not super cheap, but going out to like Olive Garden, sitting in a restaurant, it's something simple, but, it's a little bit more than usual. So it's a nice event that you might be able to share with, your wife, or if you don't have a wife, maybe your children, or however it goes, right? Certain things like that. All right, the simple things, just enjoying a little bit of something. And unfortunately, in this society, you need money to be able to do anything. All right, and because this society is ruled by cash. All right, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, yo. All right, cash rules everything around me, and that's in that song by Wu-Tang. And I'm not a Wu-Tang fan, but if you think about just the chorus and forget the rest of the song, but just the chorus, cash rules everything around me. Think about it, man. To park, you got to have cash. All right, the Esau has monetized everything. Okay, to go and park, you have to have cash. Okay, to go and camp. All right, to literally be in a tent, you have to have cash. All right, while you're out there, you want to catch a fish, gotta have cash, because you gotta get the permit. All right, well, maybe you'll hunt then. Well, gotta have cash, because then you gotta get your hunting license. All right. Then you got to have cash to buy the guns. Then you have to have cash to buy the ammo. Then you have to have cash to buy the fishing line. Then you have to have cash to buy the rod. Then you have to have cash to buy the bucket. Then you have to have cash. See, everything in Esau society is dominated by cash. All right, money. Okay, and if you're conformed to this society, all right, Esau society, all right, in worldliness, then yeah, man, that worldliness is gonna put you in the pursuit of that money, and money isn't as important as people make it out to be. Okay, as yesterday's lesson we went into, and that's part of worldliness is that covetousness, is that money, okay, and being in the world. Now we're all here, we have to live here, we have to live somewhere, right? We can't just float up to the we can't just somehow float up to the what do they call it, the firmament, and just hang around. All right, and we're not now. I'm not worldly anymore. Now I'm otherworldly. No. That's not how it works, man. It's a spiritual departure. Okay? It's a spiritual departure from Babylon the Great, and ultimately not just from Babylon the Great, but from the world in general. Okay? Because you got brothers that are, other places that are scattered abroad. All right, you got brothers in England, you got brothers in all sorts of other places, Canada, right? So the islands, man. So hey, Romans 12 and 1 through 2. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So we're going to stop off right here in verse 1, and we're going to touch on some things. So it says, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh. Pause. And it says, which is your reasonable service. But right here, holy. This word holy means separate. Well, matter of fact, we can go and prove that if we go over the Blue Letter Bible, because a lot of people don't understand what holy means. There's a lot of biblical terminology that people don't understand. They don't understand what sin means. They don't understand what they don't understand what sin means. They don't understand what holy means. All right, they don't understand what again means. All right, and those that know will know. All right, and there's a lot of different definitions in the Bible that a lot of words that got it backwards. There's a lot of words in the Bible that people don't know the definition of. All right, they don't use etymology. All right, they don't go and look into the original language. They don't. All right, and that's something that if you're learning correctly, if you're learning from who you should be learning from, all right, who is GMS, because they're the ones with the whole truth. If you're learning from them, they'll teach you the importance of words, man. Because how are you going to understand what something means if you don't understand what it means? Okay? How are you going to understand if I tell you, oh, go down to the store? How are you going to know where to go if you don't know what the fuck a store is? Okay? If you've never heard that word, say if you're just learning English, okay, and you say, hey, go down to the store, and you heard go down to the, you don't know what a store is. How are you going to be able to get to the store if you don't know what that is? You won't be able to get there. You will not be able to navigate there because you don't know what to look for. You don't understand. Okay, and it's the same thing with these scriptures. If you don't understand the basic words and terminologies, you're not going to be able to get there. Okay, because you're not going to understand it, and you can't begin to understand something that you have no understanding of. All right, you got to first do a little bit of research so you have a little bit of understanding. You're like, okay, oh, so this means that, so that's what this is talking about, right? And then you go from there. All right, but those people, hey, it's just a definition. Yeah, and that's why you don't know anything. All right, that's why you don't know anything. And this was wild to me. Look, active users right now 9,993, and some of those are brothers. Some of those are brothers for sure, making lessons across this whole world. Okay, but Romans 12:1. Enough with the yip yapping, and get down in here. All right, we'll show you how to get words. I'll show you right here. So you go to Blue Letter Bible, you click the scripture you want. Right, you'll see it. Oh, I beseech you, therefore, brethren. Okay, you're gonna click on the scripture off to the side. Click it. Left click it specifically. All right, with your big pointer finger, right? That's what you're going to click it with. Boom. And then you're going to get this. Now, this right here, it says Textus Receptus. Now, if this is in the Old Testament, it's going to be in Hebrew. If it's in the New Testament, as this is, it's going to be in what? Greek. All right, because the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament was written in Greek. Okay, so you're going to go down here and you're going to look for words. All right, you're going to say mercies, okay, bodies, living sacrifice, holy. Oh, holy, there it is. So you're not going to click on the word, okay, because if you click on the word, it's just going to give you other accounts of where this word was used, all right, which can be useful as well. But you're going to go back when you see the word holy, and you're going to click on Strong's, okay, Strong's. And then inflicted, root, and transliterated is going to give you, it's going to show you how it's going to give you how it's pronounced, or how it's written, hagios, and how it's pronounced in Greek as well. And also over here, I don't know what the parsing is, but this will give you how it's pronounced.
Strong's G40, hagios.
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 All right, hagios, and it'll actually tell you it's a feminine. What is it? A noun? What is it? It's a singular. All right, it's adjective. Okay, it's an adjective, feminine adjective. Okay, there you go. So holy, let's go and look it up. Boom, hagios. It means what? Most holy thing, a saint. Okay, but if you go back, there's actually a awful thing. Maybe it's in the etymology, because that's in the Greek. Let me see, but it does mean separate. Why can't we find it? It was easy to find not too long ago, but now all of a sudden it's the hardest thing to find in the world. There, Hebrew word. Ah, that's why. That's a Yeah, it's here. Give us a minute. Let me go and see. Let's see. So that's in this one, but this is in the New Testament, of course. So if you go to the Old Testament, let's go back. That's why we're doing it in Greek. If you get the original Hebrew, so if you go and get how do we do it? There we go. Holy, boom, 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 boom. All right, nope, didn't want to do that. Muscle memory. There we go. All right, holy in Exodus. All right, so this will be in the see, as you can see it because it's in the Old Testament, it's going to be in Hebrew. So that word holy, Kwadosh, all right, as they say, but it's Kwadash. Here we are. There you go. Boom. Slovakia. It's one of those things where you get into autopilot and you're like, wait a minute, why am I not finding it? We were doing it in the Greek. It's not in the Greek. It's in the Hebrew. All right, there you go. And it's not going to be in the etymology. It might be actually. I guess not. But yeah. I mean, set apart. All right, set apart, set apartness, separateness. Okay, so that's what holy means, is separate. Okay, so going back, it says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh. Not what's acceptable unto man, all right, but what's acceptable unto Yahweh. Ye are they who justify. Let me see. Themselves before men. All right. This is Luke 16 and 15. It says, and he said, 13. Verse 13. Also, this is speaking about money, really, too, because mammon. Luke 16 and 13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Yahweh and mammon. Now, if you go and look up mammon, okay, it says, look, it's commonly thought to mean money, material, wealth, or any entity that possesses wealth. Okay, there you go. With mammon. Okay, it's idol. It says, and the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided. All right, what is deride? What does it mean to deride? All right, to laugh at or show no respect for someone or something. So they were laughing at Yahushai, because this is Yahushai speaking in the red letter. So the Pharisees laughed at Yahushai when he said the, because they were covetous. So they thought it was foolishness unto him. Is foolish to 1 Corinthians 1 and 18, for the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of Yahweh. And that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that I was able to remember this. But yeah, this truth in this gospel, all right, and the things that are mentioned within the Bible, and the words that Yahushai spoke, they're considered foolishness to those that are perishing. It's considered foolish to a fool, really. It's considered foolish to a fool. Okay? Only a fool would think something so important is foolish. All right, so Luke 16:14, and the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but Yahweh knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of Yahweh. And so he told those Pharisees that, that you justify yourselves before men. Okay? And then you're not supposed to justify yourself. And what is justify? Show or to prove to be right or reasonable. All right? Show to prove or to be right or reasonable. So acceptable, really. It goes back to the word acceptable. It would be acceptable. So wholly acceptable unto Yahweh. So not acceptable unto man, but acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. It's what's right to do. In verse 2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renew. What is that word? What is new? To be brand new. What does mean? To make. All right, to make new again. Renew means to make new again. And that's the process of putting off the old man and putting on the new. All right. It's Ephesians 4 and 22. It says that ye, we'll start from 21 just to make it, literarily. All right. I don't know how you would what grammatically makes sense, I guess, so you can understand the context of what's being said, and it just doesn't start half in the middle of a sentence that's being spoken. Ephesians 4:21, if so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahushai, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Going back, see, that's a precept. Going back, it says, and be not conformed, Romans 12:2. Let me close out of this, but it's right here. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. All right, see, this is a precept that shows you, okay? That shows you that that this is what this is speaking of. That renewing of the mind is speaking of putting off that old man and putting on the new. Rock the halbash meow shy for that. I can feel the spirit flowing already. All right, it says, so verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. Because it's not, you're not proving yourself to men, you're proving yourself before Yahweh Bash Meow Shy. All right, and hey, that's how it goes, man. And hell, man, I wish I could just sit here and just make this lesson for as long as I want, but unfortunately, I gotta go to work today, unfortunately, on Sabbath. Ain't that some bullshit? So let's see what we got here. So we're gonna get Romans 8:5 through 7. We gotta kind of speed it up a bit, unfortunately. Just never feel like you have enough time, man. That's why I love my days off, being able to make my lessons without being rushed, without having to worry about going to work or being late or traffic. So Romans 8:5 through 7, it says, verse 5, for they that are after the flesh do mind things of the flesh. So these are the people that are not, they haven't renewed their mind. All right, these are the worldly people. All right, the people that love being, so what is being in the worldly? All right, what does worldly mean? Worldly means what? Worldly does not mean sophisticated and well-rounded. Okay, so that's what they try to say. It means really good. It means a good thing. No, that's not the context. So worldly, all right, earthly, secular, all right. It's not a good thing. All right, it isn't a good thing at all. It says just worldly. I guess worldly wise. You know, being of the world. All right, and worried about the things of the world. So for ease of description and example, worldliness is, instead of being focused on, you know, Yahweh Shemiao Shai and this truth and this ministry, and, you know, hoping for salvation and praying, you're too busy being out in the world. And that doesn't mean, and you gotta understand what it's speaking about, because it doesn't mean, oh, you watch TV, you're worldly. Well, that's something in the world. No, worldly is the act of, you know, behaving almost really as a hive mind with these other worldly people. And, you know, you're going to think like they think. You're going to act like they think, act like they act. You're not going to have any regard for the law. You're not going to have any regard for Yahweh Shemiao Shai, or the things that were spoken by them. You're not going to have, you're not going to care about the Father and the Son. You're not going to care about getting the name. You're not going to care about those things. You're going to be too busy about going to parties and what you can do in the world and things that you can buy and the, you know, the places you can go. All right, and that's how it's going to be. And that doesn't mean you can't go anywhere. That doesn't mean you can't buy anything, you know. And again, we have to explain that, because Jake, and I know, because when I first came in, you know, I was taking things way too literally. And I said, well, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. If I go somewhere, if I go on a vacation, I'm worldly, you know. That's the type of shit I'd be thinking. No, it doesn't mean that. It means our you know, for example, you know, the trip comes second, and just because you're on a trip doesn't mean you can stop making lessons. All right, if you're a man, for example, when I was there, now my lessons, you know, were a little bit shorter, but I was still doing this work. All right, and looking back, I'd rather honestly just done the full time on my lessons. But hey, that's I can't go back and change it now, right? But I would have rather just done the full time on the lessons. But hey, that's just how it ended up being. So Romans 8:5. All right, so that's what worldliness is. It doesn't mean you can't go on a trip. Doesn't mean you can't play video games. Doesn't mean you can't watch TV. Doesn't mean you can't draw, or hell, whatever you do. It doesn't mean that. All right, there's a difference. It's if drawing becomes your life, and now or video games become your life, and or what's another thing I named, or vacation becomes your life to the point where you're not watching lessons, you're not making lessons, you're not thinking about Yahweh Shemiao Shai, you're not worried about, salvation, you're not, watching and seeing what's going on in the world, you're not doing any of those type of things, then yeah, that's worldliness, all right, because you're in the world and you're not thinking of anything spiritual, all right. Worldliness is what is spirituality. You know what spirituality is, right? Well, worldliness is the opposite of that. Spirituality is what? Trusting in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, being focused on, the matters of this Bible, looking for prophecy, seeing things happen, go, oh, well, that might be scriptural, talking about things, whether it's with brothers or sisters, about this truth. That's spirituality. Worldliness is the opposite of that. So put 2 and 2 together. Romans 8:5 through 7. Romans 8:5, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded, and carnally is of the flesh, all right, because we're in the flesh, but we shouldn't be of the flesh, all right, spiritually departed from these flesh-like bodies, all right, and thinking spiritually, not carnally. Now it's going to make my flesh feel good. That's carnal, all right. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace, because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, so it's in direct opposition, all right, and you should know what opposition means. Y'all shorten it as ops. Right, you 2/3 in the world as hood rat jakes, all right? You should know what it means. It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject to the law of Yahweh, neither indeed can be. So you guys, all of our people need to depart, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Everybody else, a so-called white man, all they can't depart at all, all right? Because they're not, the Most High is not in all their thoughts, all right? Yahweh's not in all their thoughts, as the scriptures say. So they can't do anything, all right? And even if they thought that they could, the Most High would absolutely reject them still. Why? Because they're wicked, man, and they would be being deceitful about it anyway. They don't have an honest bone in their body, man. All right. When is the white man done anything honest? All right. And we don't mean that by necessarily by the white man. We mean so-called, the so-called white man, Edomites, really, because not all these white people are Edomites, and not all these so-called black people are Jakes. Okay. You got terrors. All right, you got not Slakia, that's an old term. You got speckled birds, all right? So James 4:4 says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahweh? Whoso therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh. So when you become a friend of the world like that, you become in direct opposition of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because the world is opposed, all right? It's contrary. Let's go and get some words. Contrary.
Contrary.
All right. Opposite. All right. Opposing. Opposed. Contradicting. Clashing. Conflicting. All right. Incompatible. All right. You just can't do it, man. You can't do it. All right. Worldliness and this truth is incompatible. Okay. Why is it uncompatible? Because you can't be worldly in this truth. Because if you're worldly, you can't be in this truth. And if you're in this truth, you can't be worldly. It just doesn't work. Because if you're worldly, you're not going to be paying attention to scriptures, okay? And if you're spiritual, you're not going to be worried about, what's going down at the 2/3 kickoff fest, yada yada yada. And again, think about it spiritually, man. Think about it spiritually. Don't think you can't. Oh man, I can't go to a movie theater because I'm being world. Oh, I can't play 2K. That's being world. Oh, I can't go out to dinner at Olive Garden with my girl because that's being worldly. Oh, I can't go to a baseball game because that's being worldly. No, that's not. But those things could be being worldly depending on how they're being going about. Okay, so that's why you need to examine yourselves. Okay, examine yourselves daily. I was mixing two scriptures together right here. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates? But I trust ye shall know that we are not reprobates. There you go. So you gotta look. You just gotta moderation, man. Everything's in moderation. Well, not everything. All right, things that are good even can be turned bad. All right, if they're not and done in moderation. So eating food is good. You need to survive, but you eat too much and you're gonna blow it up like a goddamn balloon. Okay, you eat too little, you'll starve to death. Okay, but no amount of I can do a little bit of sin in moderation. No, it's not what was being said. All right, Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. There you go, man. This place is going to destroy you. If you keep on hanging around this place being worldly, ultimately it will destroy you. Okay, you're going to lean into it, and you're going to get into those wicked things. And it's not necessarily the world that will destroy you, but Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because you are being worldly. And hey, worldliness is enmity with the Most High. Okay, so Revelation 18:2-5. Then we're going to go ahead and close out. Verse 2. And he cried. We're actually going to just go from verse 1, because why not? I mean, you might as well. Verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. The world, right? Come out of the world and don't partake in her sins, because don't partake in the wickedness that's going down, right? It says, and that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. We'll go to verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. So you can get Babylon, the great whore, man. It's gonna get it back way out, man. It's gonna be complete desolation. Okay, complete desolation. So that's been the lesson. You know, it's pretty. I think it was pretty straightforward. You know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And hey, man, it's just look, man. Hey, money ain't important. All right, this world ain't that important. All right, it's not anything worth dying over, man. It's really not. All right, and there's things in the world that, you know, we like, and it doesn't make you worldly. I want to stress that. All right, like waiting for football season doesn't make you worldly. Okay, playing a video game doesn't make you worldly. All right, going taking your girl out to a dinner, maybe a movie, ain't worldly. All right, you're just having. Is it in the world? Yes, but you're not of the world. Because guess what? While you're out there, you might see someone. You might have a conversation. You know, if you're girls in this truth, you might have a conversation in the car. You know, like, oh, that motherfucker was a, you know, because I know that's because I've been blessed enough to, you know, because the girl I'm with is in this truth as well. All right. Matter of fact, she started getting into it before I did. And that's how I found out about this truth, is through her, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, introducing me to her. And I was like, okay. And at first I was a little, I didn't know about it, right? I was just a regular in the world as, you know, smoking weed ass person. And, you know, but now, you know, sometimes when we're in the car, we're like, man, that guy was a terror, wasn't he? I think that guy was a terror. We're like, yeah, he was probably a terror. He didn't seem right. Something was off with him. All right, we're like, oh, that fucking Edomite in there, man. That Edomite pissed me off, you know. But it's still related to this truth, man. You're like, man, that Edomite's gonna get what's coming. The Most High is gonna mess him up for what he did, you know. And you know, it's still, you know, having a spiritual mind. All right, just because you're in the world doesn't mean that you're of the world. Okay, just because you're in the world doesn't mean you're of the world. All right, just because you ate pasta don't make you Italian. All right, so if you can make any sense of that, just because you ate some tacos don't make you Mexican, right? So called. So just because you went out and you did something that was, you know, in the world, it doesn't mean you're of the world. All right, of course you have to be in the world. We go to work, that's in the world. All right, we have to, you know, we're sitting in our house, which is in the world, but we're not of the world. We realize that all these things are going to go away, and at the end of the day, they don't really mean jack shit. All right, so that's the lesson. All right, Lord willing, I explain it. I don't want Jake to go, you know, deep mind 5. All right, and go, you know, bugging out. All right, so hopefully it was explained, you know, well enough. All right, if there's any questions, comments, anything like that, yeah, you drop them down below, and I'll try to get to them the best I can to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out. That's been the lesson, you know, dealing with worldliness. So with that, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there, you Akim and Akwat out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.